So Nick, thank you very much for inviting me here today. I was really surprised that these vines have been planted for 49 years. So tell us a little bit of history about Chilford Hall Vineyard.
Well, this vineyard here was the vision of Sam Alper, who was an entrepreneur back in the 60s. He liked his wine and he thought, I might plant my own vineyard. So we asked some German experts over and they walked around and said, these are the fields here that you want to plant them in, and you need these varieties probably. We're not quite sure what will grow in England because not many people were doing it then, so mainly German grape varieties. And they planted a few fields and then they've just gone on from there, really planted every few years a few more, up to about 14 acres now, and it's been making wine since 1974 when the first vintage was bottled.
That's brilliant, and on our doorstep, which is wonderful for us. I understand, Nick, that you've been a recipient of the Eastern Agritech Growth Initiative before. Would you like to tell me a little bit about that?
Well, we'd grown the business to a point that lots of people would come on tours and drink the wine, and they liked the wine. But in terms of making it, we were putting wine on lorries and taking it all the way down to Hampshire to get the sparkling wine process made, so like champagne, the traditional method. And we thought, if we could do that here, we could A, do it for ourselves, and B, do it for other people in East Anglia without having to spend all this time on the motorway and have more control of the process and its quality.
That's great. So when you just said about people coming visiting the vineyard as well, you would have been hit by that with the pandemic last year.
Yes.
And I think that's why you approached us again. To apply for some funding. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about those pain points you went through and what had to change?
Yeah, I mean, as a business, 90% of the income came from tourists coming here, coming on a tour, having a meal, buying wine and going away happy. And that was great. And we did a small amount of winemaking for other growers in the region. When COVID came, that zeroed our tourist income, and it was zeroed for over a year and a half in the end. So it was extremely painful. We had to lay quite a lot of people off. And the future was really bleak. So we had to create retail sales of wine without a shop. So we went online, we emailed people and said, you've been here, would you like some wine? And we started to get orders coming in, and that was a survival chain of sending wine, on couriers to people. But more and more people have been planting vineyards and want us to make the wine for them. And that's beyond the capacity of what we have here in terms of equipment. So we know the vines are there, they're growing, they're making grapes. We know the grapes are coming in the autumn. We need the capacity. So we were able to get the funding to help pay for a much bigger press, so we can press more grapes at a time, and more tanks to do the fermentation in. And that's all come through now, and we've just been looking at it in the winery, and it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
It does. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's great that you've got this new stream of business that is going to be very productive for you moving forward as well. What does the future hold now for you?
Well, I think wine made in England is getting a good following now. It's more publicised on the television. There's English Wine Week. The price of wine from abroad has been going up. So English wine is starting to look quite good value. It's still a bit of a treat, really, but it's in competitions, it often beats champagnes in blind tasting, so it's that good. And people need to go out there, buy some, try it, and then, come visit us here and see the vines where it's all made.
It's been a great afternoon here at Chilford Hall Vineyard, just to the south of Cambridge. We've seen the grapes in the field, we've looked at the process for how those grapes are then produced and how they're bottled. And it's really exciting to see what this business has done to change its model. So it's not just producing its own wine, but it's producing wine for other growers as well. The business board has contributed to Chilford Hall Vineyard with a couple of grants, and we really feel that that's helped them to grow and to develop, and we're really excited to see what comes next.